Ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't going to make a video today. It is currently 2 a.m., very late here in Australia, and I saw the correction happening on Bitcoin, and I saw the way the Ethereum and altcoin market was reacting, and I thought, I just have to get this out. I can't sleep without getting it out. I think you guys need to see this, or at least you deserve to get an update here, rather than waiting longer and not knowing what's going on. So what we have right now is an interesting situation in which the macro structures are showing strong resistance at $123,000, which is what we expected in yesterday's video. You can see I said this is a warning, major Bitcoin resistance right now. 123,000 is literally in the thumbnail there. That resistance is coming from this channel, which we'll discuss in this video. It's also coming from the power law chart on Bitcoin. You can see that resistance there in green, which we'll also discuss in this video. And at the time Bitcoin is, testing this resistance zone, seeing a correction might be alarming to some people, especially a correction as sharp as what it looks like in the daily chart. And so I need to give you an update on what's going on here and why it's not necessarily a cause for concern at this point. And also to clarify when it would be a cause for concern. And this applies to Bitcoin, and we'll also look into altcoins as well. So guys, if you appreciate the content, you appreciate the dedication here, staying up till 2 a.m. to make this video, I would appreciate if you check out the Bitunix Exchange. A lot of people ask me what exchange I use as a trader. I use the Bitunix Exchange, and I don't have a contract with them. I haven't signed anything with them. I don't work for them. I advertise them on my own accord. With my referral link down below, you can get a 15% trading fee discount permanently attached to your account, as well as up to 8,000 USDT in rewards just by signing up with my link down below. Why would you sign up? Well, it's global, it's non-KYC, it's never been hacked before, it's got all of the functions and pairs that you would expect for a major exchange. For that reason, I use it. And I implore you to consider using it as well. Sign up with my link to help out the channel, help out yourself. Cheers. The big resistance, the mighty resistance zone that Bitcoin is facing right now, that you would have seen from the thumbnail of yesterday's video, 12 years of resistance, is not coming from a chart that people regularly look at. It's coming from this chart right here and this chart right here, the Bitcoin power law chart, and also the Bitcoin logarithmic regression channel based on angles of ascension between bull market tops, okay, and between bottoms, right? This is a very important channel and not many people know about it. I try my best to spread publicly, and I guarantee you, if you have heard of this channel before, there's a very solid likelihood it actually is coming from me, right? People have seen my videos and they've started talking about it because of me, because I've been talking about this channel for years at this point. And I talked about this channel when it was in its infancy, and I continue to talk about it, and I talk about it today because it's actually relevant right now. Today we're testing it for resistance. Essentially, if you take the angle of ascension between top and top and bottom, what you see on the logarithmic scale is that the angle of ascension is halving each cycle, okay? It's gone from 28 to 14 to 6.5 or whatever. It's gone from 30 to 15 to 7.5. Okay, it's halving every cycle. And all we need to do is extrapolate that forward to get the angle of ascension, a speculative angle of ascension, from this bull market top to the bull market top we're seeing at this time, wherever that may be. We've got the angle of ascension, and we're currently testing that exact level for resistance right now at 123,000. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the top is in. Historically, it has marked the top, but it doesn't necessarily mean the top is in, because we tested this level also back here in December, and yet here we are making new highs. And on top of that, we still have about 3 months left in the 4-year cycle until the 4-year cycle expects the top to be in. So we've got time here. And us testing this level for resistance isn't the be-all, end-all. It's not the end of the world, but it is a very major zone, which we've never broken before. And it's cross-validated, externally validated, independently validated by the power law chart on Bitcoin, which is another very significant macro chart, which has historically predicted tops and bottoms on Bitcoin as well. In this case, we're looking at the green line, the center line, which has predicted, or at least marked, okay, very significant macro peaks within this current bull market back here in March 2024, back here in November, in January, and right now as we speak at 123,000. So 123,000 is a big level, and you'll know that if you watched yesterday's video. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, you know that now. And the fact that we are coming down and rejecting from 123,000 to a lot of people who know that, and maybe some people who don't even know that, comes across as concerning, okay? Especially if you don't have the cyclical context. I'm going to give you that context. I'm going to tell you why I'm not concerned about this yet. Here's why. Now, this was once a line which was unpopular, once a line which was not looked at by many people, but it has slowly become over time a very popular line. And it's a line going right backwards from the peak of the 2017 bull market, cutting across the tops in 2021, and very clearly defining and kind of showing us that the top, if I drew it correctly here, that the tops that we saw throughout late 2024 and this year as well are actually part of a long-term cyclically relevant resistance line. I'll make it yellow and I'll just zoom out one big time so you can see it here. It goes right back to 2017, cuts through the 2021 all-time highs, predicts the 2021 all-time highs, by the way, and cuts through some of the local highs we've seen here. Part of the macro range was basically based on this yellow line, and the fact that we broke it to the upside was a big thing for Bitcoin. Bitcoin skyrocketed after we broke that level to the upside. Excellent stuff. Now, this level doesn't just become obsolete simply because it's broken. What happens to it is it goes from being a very important resistance zone to a very important support zone. And that's exactly what's happening on the Bitcoin chart as we speak right now. If we zoom in, okay, and obviously it's hard to get this level precisely given how long term it is, but if we zoom in, what Bitcoin basically seems to be doing right now, okay, is coming right up, breaking this level, clearly breaking that level and flipping it, coming right up to 123,000, testing the macro resistance coming from these two charts, and then swinging back down again and flipping that previously broken level for support. Right now, as we speak at 116,000, absolutely nothing that has happened on the Bitcoin chart is abnormal at all. In fact, in yesterday's video, I spent about 90 seconds literally outlining the fact that a retest to 115,000 would be perfectly normal. I said it would be perfectly normal. I specifically outlined this scenario, and it seems to have taken place here. Now, we're going to wrap back around to this, and I'm going to tell you when it would be concerning in a second here, but I want to make something very clear as well. What's happened on the Ethereum chart in reaction to this Bitcoin correction is quite interesting. Ethereum hasn't just crashed like it usually did, right? Back here in 2024, every time Bitcoin dropped 1%, Ethereum was down 10%, right? Just plummeted to the ground. In fact, during this correction, when Bitcoin has had a very negative, very bearish wick to the upside in that candle there, and then a strong bearish engulfing candle, Ethereum has managed to maintain not only a green candle, but two separate green candles. And as this has been happening, and by the way, that's happening on top of a macro support zone. You can see it right there, something like that. Okay, depends where you draw it. You can draw it over here as well. It's based on the volume profile. It's valid either way. But at the same time this is happening, we also see the Bitcoin dominance chart continue to tank, and not only that, but to see a very, very strong red candle. So Ethereum is actually gaining the market's attention, and altcoins are getting the market's attention even during this Bitcoin correction, meaning that people aren't actually as bearish as you may expect here. People have seen this breakout on the Bitcoin chart. They've seen the correction on the Bitcoin chart. They bought altcoins perhaps on the breakout, and they're not willing to sell their altcoins yet at all. In fact, they're probably still collecting them because Ethereum is slightly moving upwards while Bitcoin is aggressively moving downwards. So the altcoin market is showing strength even in wake of this Bitcoin correction, which is one of the first major signs you generally see before altcoins absolutely take off. Altcoins going upwards on a Bitcoin correction is not normal unless the market environment is primed for an altcoin move. So I'm very happy to see that. Now, wrapping back around to Bitcoin here, if Bitcoin breaks below this yellow line, not only breaks below it, but convincingly breaks below it, right? I'm talking about a break below this yellow line that takes us below the recent high at around 112,000, right? Then I would actually start to get concerned that this move was a genuine fake out with a retest of genuine macro support. And I'd start to get concerned that perhaps that move was the start of a correction, or maybe even, if it develops further, a bear market, right? It would be very difficult to validate that with, just a small amount of price action to 111,000, but it would be a step in that bearish direction. So as long as Bitcoin is above around 112 to 111,000, I'm not too concerned here. And I say 112 to 111 because I understand that with a macro line like this going backwards so long, a brief wick below it is not really too concerning. We need to see an actual structured breakdown from it. And I think that would occur if we broke from the recent high at 111 to 112. So in my view, Bitcoin is not doing anything particularly wrong here. It's not doing anything particularly bad. In fact, what it's doing is quite expected. Now, if it drops down another $6,000, that's when we start getting concerned. And if that does occur, well, guess what? I'll update you on the situation. So guys, thank you so much for paying attention to this late night update. If you appreciate the content, you appreciate what I do, I recommend leaving a like, comment, subscribing, but also checking out the Bitunix Exchange. A lot of people ask me what exchange I use as a trader. I use the Bitunix Exchange, and I don't have a contract with them. I haven't signed anything with them. I don't work for them. I advertise them on my own accord. With my referral link down below, you can get a 15% trading fee discount permanently attached to your account, as well as up to 8,000 USDT in rewards just by signing up with my link down below. Why would you sign up? Well, it's global, it's non-KYC, it's never been hacked before, it's got all of the functions and pairs that you would expect for a major exchange. For that reason, I use it. And I implore you to consider using it as well. Sign up with my link to help out the channel, help out yourself. Cheers.